Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker Training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTrain.tv, where every day, Monday through Friday, we're doing live training with the FileMaker platform. So if I press the button right here, you go to FMTrain.tv. You can check out the upcoming broadcast schedule. This data is feeding out of FileMaker in real time. So yeah, pretty cool. So today is Thursday, November 30th. Tomorrow is the first day of December, which is one of the crazier months of the year, just because of Christmas and everything else. So today is Christian Schmidt talking about the Monkey Bread plugin 13.5. I've been told that he has now 7,331 separate functions that are supported in the FileMaker platform, which is pretty exciting. We're broadcasting in high definition on YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. And while today is about Christian Schmidt, for the most part, I'm going to remind people if they want to support the channel, make sure to purchase one of our training bundles. If I press the button here, these are the training bundles that we have currently available. We have kind of a basic, plus, and complete. Feel free to purchase that. If you're a veteran, a U.S. military veteran, email us at support@RC Consulting, and we will work on getting you comped on the training bundle. We did that for someone the other day. Mike says, hey, Christian, working with your plugin right now to run some Python code for facial recognition comparison. That sounds interesting. Cool. All right. So Christian Schmidt, I'm going to quit sharing my screen. We're going to transfer command to you. You are there.
Yeah.
Monkey Bread plugin, awesome product. So what are we doing to, okay, like I always tell Christian, I always set people up, say, why are you here and why should we care about what you're saying? Tell me.
So today you are learning all about the new MBS plugin version 13.5 from last month. It's already a bit aging. It's working well. We got a couple of new functions for you. Let me share the screen and then pull up the statistics page. So let's go documentation 13.5. We got just a few new functions.
Okay.
The total function count is 7,236.
I was pretty close at that number.
Yeah,
I was pretty close at that number. So when I say there's 7,321 things it does, I'm not making that up. It does that much. If any of you have ever even used half of these functions, you've got 3,500 functions, 3,500 functions worth of experience, please email us and let us know. I would love to meet that person.
So, as you may know, MBS plugin is available for macOS, Windows, Linux, and iOS. I still get people asking if I have a plugin for Linux. I think I was the first one to make one, even for the ARM CPUs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So if you come and download the plugin, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's the contents of the zip file right there, right?
Yeah, if you get the plugin, you get all the files here. So you have the Windows version, 64-bit nowadays.
Which is Pro and Server both, Mac.
Yeah.
Pro and
One
Server.
plugin for both.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We keep it easy. The Linux one is, of course, separated. There's the ARM version, the Intel version. We also have the libraries here for DynaPDF for PDF manipulation or Excel for Excel manipulation. And if you want to run the plugin on iOS, you can do that using the FileMaker iOS SDK.
I do have a question. So on the AWS servers, AWS has these Gravitron processors that are cheaper, that are Linux, I think. You run Linux on them?
Yeah.
Are those ARM?
Yes.
They are, so we would use the Linux ARM plugin with the Graviton, whatever it is.
The cheaper servers are using ARM because they don't have to pay for the Intel CPUs. And of course, they use less energy.
Okay.
So we got the plugin for all the targets. You would install the plugin, and then you would maybe play with all the examples. We have just about 600 examples or so. And today we want to check a few features of the MBS plugin, including JSON functions. We got new JSON functions. So anyone here knows XML parse queries?
They should.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine you have a JSON. Maybe you got it from an API. You got it from FileMaker's data API, maybe. And you want to run queries against it. Like you just say, like you have here, some books defined. This is a sample calculation. So we have some JSON with some entries, and we run a query against it. Here's a query. So we say JSON query, please look on this JSON, find the entry with the store, find the books array, and in the books array, find me one where the author field starts with here, Evelyn. So if you have JSON and you don't want to manually search all the entries, want to filter them, you can use a plugin to run a query against them and get back the JSON you want. And this gives a result here. And you can always just go and launch FileMaker, go to the data viewer, and just play with such an expression. Let me just copy this into the data viewer, evaluate it, and now you can play live with it. So we have some data here. Let's just change it and search for something else. Let's say we have a different author, Herman. So I can just use it. So you can easily filter your JSONs if you like. I will soon have another blog post explaining all the details and giving a few more examples. We also got a sample file for you. No, I think you guys enjoy sample files. So here's one for query.
Mike says he's also already using your JSON query function to search a giant block of JSON. So my only question to Mike would be, how was the performance on that? I always hate asking questions about to the end users about the person who's presenting, but Christian is tough enough to take a potentially negative comment if it is negative, but because he will typically fix it. But Mike says he's got to do it a bit. I was wondering that, right? So you're doing your own little search in there.
So we have two things. We have JSON query, and this is using JSON parse syntax.
Okay.
Which you can learn all about on some websites. And we also have the other function, JSON search. So the query filters basically the JSON, and the search can also do some other things. Like it cannot just filter here records by some criteria. It can also just pick a value, then, for example, apply sorting, and then build you a new JSON with different keys. So if you have to transform a JSON from some, well, let's say some format to different format, you can do that. Like you could say, I have here different keys. I want the input keys mapped to output keys. And then maybe apply some other transformation. You can do that with the search function. So let's go through a few examples here. This is an example from the documentation. We have input JSON. We have here a search query. And I just run it, and I get back the cities found. But I can also do numerical comparisons. So I have here an age field. I want to find all the people with the age above 20, and then only return name and age as an array. So I get an array of for the result. I get an array back here. And this way I can just narrow down the data. Like instead of having objects, I just get data here. And it may depend on what things you want to do. And maybe eventually we get something to write records from JSON and FileMaker. And
that's interesting. So Mike, who's using this on the JSON query, says if you can generate a large JSON in a night batch, so obviously kind of a nighttime process, then he reformats his search using JSON and returning IDs. With GTRR, he says it's 5,000% faster than the old way. Yeah. I mean, frequently, if you use a third-party plugin and it's specialized and tuned, you can derive well, you could do things you can't do at all in FileMaker frequently. And if you do something like Hans is always big on this, you can use a plugin to do something that FileMaker already does, but do it way, way, way faster, right? So,
yeah. So this is a query, find items with price value. We cannot just do query, we can also do replace. So you could say, find me all the entries matching, and then let's say replace the author value with a new value, which can also be helpful. Like, let me just increase the price. Another example. So find all the entries where the price is below 10 and 30 to 16. And you get an output JSON. And you may notice that all the JSON is colored here because we have a nice function for that.
All right, so I have a question here real quick from Stu. He says, I missed the difference between the search and query. Can you clarify that, Mr. Christian?
So the query, search uses JMesh pass. This is just two standards for doing queries on JSON.
Okay.
And because I couldn't decide which one to use, I got both.
Okay, well, there you go. So you give people a choice.
You may find people using preferring the one or the other syntax, but basically they should do similar things.
See, so these are already standards, and you support both standards, and so that's what Stu was asking about. Okay, good. Good.
So let's run here query, get the second item. Okay, here was a find by beginning of the text. Here find entries which have a certain key. So if the key exists, we get back the title of the record. We can get a range of things here, like in all the books, get me all the authors and titles. A sub-range, here just pick some titles. Let's see what have me more interesting queries. So we can tokenize things. So there are built-in functions in the query language. And I will soon have a blog post about those because I just wrote it. So we can go here and tokenize the author field and then say we would, with a regular expression here, and say we want to pick the second word and see if it's this name. So this is basically the second here, the second part of the author name.
Okay.
And then from this entry we found, just get the title.
So Mike from Twitch is saying, hey, Christian, can you, I guess it's a request, can you show how you can return just a list of a specific value, i.e. you have JSON representing records, you do your find and return only one value, which could be your ID field in the JSON. It gives you a list.
Well, this will always return JSON, so you get something like this. But we have a ton of other JSON functions. And I'm sure we have something here for get array items as list. So we take such a helper function here from the plugin, go to the data viewer, and now say, this is a result field, evaluate, and we get just the text.
Yeah, that's pretty sharp. I like that.
The JSON query and search always gives you back JSON. So let's see what examples do I also have. So you can ask for the keys in the JSON, so we can know which keys exist. Sometimes you may want to make an expression where a certain key must have a certain name and exist, so you can bear that. Then another thing here, I'll just find people by age. Okay, now find someone by age, and then we transform the JSON, so we have output keys and input keys. So this is the key above, city, and let's just say we have an API in German, and we need to change the name in the JSON, and then let's say we sort them by the city, and so I get here the key change from city to Stadt, and I get them sorted. So Los Angeles is before New York, and this is a useful thing. We have functions like for math, like ups, where you can, for example, pick values by the absolute value, or you can calculate averages. So if you have some JSON array of numbers, you can get averages. So let's see, ceil for the upper limit of a number. There's also a floor function. You can look for things containing certain text, like here, give me all the entries containing here a specific text. Text ending with a certain text, floor, keys, length, the length of an array, of an object, the max value, min value, the product. I'll just run it here. Text starting with a certain word is a sum. You can try all the examples if you like. Tokenize. Oh, this one, another one where we use tokenize to get the prefix code, here the area code from the phone number. So if you have some phone numbers in your things, you could just say starts with, but maybe you have some pattern, like you have keys with a certain pattern, and you like to get, let's say, the first value, second value with a certain delimiter. So you would just say here, tokenize with a certain character, and then pick the item you want, the first, the second, the third, and compare it to another value. Oh, should run it. Well, finds the two numbers with 555. Then let's say you have some students here. There's a students records, and you like to know which student is in a course with a title named Mars, and just give me the name. And so you get the names of the two students. Or let's say we want to have the average age from all the students. So we go through all the students in JSON and calculate the average age. Or here, another example. From all the students, please change the names of the keys in the JSON. And here for the grades, just pick the ones where it's over 80 points. And this gives us a filtered JSON back.
Someone said they don't understand the string.
The search term. It's a specific syntax. You can read about it. This is search. So let's go back here. There's search. So there's an organization here for this query language for JSON. And their tutorials, their examples, their specifications. So you can learn all about it if you want.
Okay, I think this is probably going to help David quite a bit. So David, yeah, does this make sense? I mean, I wasn't following either because I don't play in JSON too much. And then, but as soon as he shows this, it kind of colors in the back. It's it's difference between intermediate engineers and senior engineers. But yes, it's good to know where these standards are so you can read up on them. And so is there a website for the other ones? You said you support this, Jay?
Yeah, it's on the documentation. We have the links in the documentation.
Okay.
So let's just go through the string. So students here is the name of the object here in the JSON. Then this is an array. And we take all the students, and then we make a new JSON and say, map the existing name field to a new name field, and then make a new field here. And from all the courses, just pick the grades and sum them up. And this is something you have to learn. Like this add is for the current value. So it runs over the courses array, finds all the grades, then runs them through the sum, and puts the final point value into this entry. I think a lot of people learn with these examples. And the question here, or the question is not in this one here. So the question mark is for filter. So we would filter the course, this array by criteria. And so here we say grade field must be bigger than 85. And this is a condition which applies to the courses. And then we query this courses from the result. So this applies basically a filter with a condition of whether to enter the value. And then here we pick the name. So we run this, find the 3 students. And the last example is, this is here a pipe. And the pipe lets you concat 2 expression. So here the mass expression just gives you some students. And then we run it through a second filter to find all the entries where there is history, which then gives us just 1 student, which does both courses. And then we just pick the name. So we can filter a lot of things. And this is like a union operation in a SQL, where you just, no, it's not a general. Oh, well, no, it's a pipe. So we take the first result here and run it through another evaluation here. And on the end, we pick the name field.
All right.
So if you have questions, please email me. We may help you and maybe get a new great example for our blog post, maybe.
How do they email you if they want to email you?
Support
yeah.
at monkeybreadsoftware.com.
There we
But
go.
the email is on the website, of course. We also have other JSON functions. So if you need anything with JSON, you can find a lot of things in our plugin. Those functions are made for speed and to be very versatile, so you can use them in a lot of things.
Yeah, no, Stu, this is a really cool thing, which it is. It seems like a great solution for APIs when you only want some of the data that the API returns. So,
Oh yeah, we also had, I think, a blog post. Let's see, where was it? So we have here JSON parse and JSON query. So we have some ideas why you would want to extract data, filter JSON, transform data, do some logic inside it, talk to external APIs, or work for data to import or export. Yeah. And here's a query example. Yeah. So
yeah, and then Mike on Twitch confirms that it is in fact not a performance hit and very fast. So,
okay, maybe go to the next feature. Our list dialog got checkboxes. So you can enable checkboxes for the list example. Maybe I just modify an example to add list boxes, to checkboxes. So there's an example script. It shows a list. Let's say here, we put in the new function, put in checkboxes, run it, and you see we have here countries, and you have checkbox. So if you have to show your user some dialog to pick some records, you can use a plugin to show the dialog without making a different layout for FileMaker to show a dialog, and you can just calculate it on the fly.
Yeah, I haven't seen this function before. So obviously it's one of the 7,328 functions that. So anyone else? Yeah, Stu says this looks awesome. Yeah, that's the problem when you have a guy with 7,000 really cool features in his toolbox that you come in and you're like amazed, like you made this better, but we're like, oh, this was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
So a lot of people just make a little button on the layout for showing this picker. Then maybe they load data from a different table to fill the list box. You can have several columns if you like. You can have a hidden ID value for every row.
All right, just because I am such a slow David, yeah, the ultimate toolbox. Can you go back and show us the script that kicked this out for me real quick, just so we see? So,
yeah.
So you're setting variables. Oh, yeah, so you clear it. You set the prompt name.
Yeah, there's also a reset to reset all the options.
Okay.
So we clear it. We set some options like here prompt. We want this little filter thing.
Okay.
We add some. You can just add an item with calling a function. You can also call a function to add a list of things. You can allow multiple selection. You can add the checkboxes. You can pre-select what you want to have selected.
Actually, forcing it to only have a single selection. That's a nice thing, as FileMaker doesn't. I had to mention that to someone the other day, that if you have a checkbox or radio buttons or whatever, you think it's one select only on like a radio button, but you can bypass it. So
yeah, we have a set allow empty selection, so you can decide whether an empty selection would be allowed. So you can say you need to have one. You can also align your columns. You can have headers on the columns.
So Labo, Labo has a question here. Could you have two filter boxes in the dialogues? If we can have a filter, why not a field box in Windows?
Well, this dialog exists for Windows, and you can just type something here, like you can find something. You can actually find different things, like you can have several words there to find different entries. And the idea is usually to have a picker, like you need to pick an article without using a portal or without switching to a different layout. You just want to pick some items, get back the IDs, and store them in a field. So I can just select here something like Germany, Liechtenstein, and then I can go back. And because the checkboxes are remembered, so even if I don't see them, the value stays. So let me here click a few more. So let's search again. So those are checked and going back. So you can just have a big list of maybe 1,000 entries. You can filter to the ones you need, put your checkboxes on there, then filter to a different set, and make a few more checkboxes, and then you can click the select button and then query the plugin for getting the results. Some people also add a third button. So we can have another, where is it? Here, other button. So you can define a label and an evaluate. So when you click the button, we evaluate an expression. And this expression can, for example, be a help button to open a URL, or it can be here some let statement doing several operations, like, for example, here, ask what's the current selected entry, and then do something about it. So it's very flexible.
This is really cool. I wonder if this wouldn't be better than what we were trying to make for the parts list.
Yeah, some people like to fill it with SQL. So you can just run a SQL against another table to find the values. We have tags. So a tag is the hidden value per row. So you can put in an ID, a primary key there if you like. You can specify the position where it should show up and sort the entries. Yeah, lots of function here.
Yeah, no, the universal claim is that this is very cool in the chats. So
yeah. So just show it when you need a picker for people to pick something. And you can run it everywhere with just a let statement.
I missed the question, but is this fully supported on all the, it's Mac, Win, and so no.
Just Mac and Win.
Well, yeah, because on the server, you would never have a dialogue on the server, right? Because
yeah,
would be
so no server, no Linux. And maybe someday I make it for iOS if someone needs that. Okay, so the new thing is the checkbox. Next thing is anyone needs to make PDF-A documents. We have a new version 4 available.
For those people who are not familiar with PDF, give us the quick backstory on versions of PDF. Is PDF-A?
So DynaPDF can make PDF documents in various versions. There are older versions like 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.7. Newer versions usually have newer features available, things you can do with the PDF document. Like you need a certain version. The very old versions didn't have Unicode. You have to go to a newer version to get Unicode. Then there are specific standards like PDF-A for archiving. So a PDF-A document should be able to be printed in 100 years. There's certain rules, like what you're allowed to have in a PDF document, like you have to have all the fonts embedded so you can print it anywhere and look on it without having a problem with a missing font. And DynaPDF supports all different kinds of standards. And it's more a thing with regulation, like some companies want their invoices to be all PDF-A. So they know they can still show them in 10 years when the tax audit happens.
Okay, back up. In 10 years or 100 years? I heard 100 years.
Both.
Really?
But the tax thing is, for your practical life, it's 10 years. But it's suitable for long-term archiving.
All right.
So
it makes sense, of course, because fonts change and you always get little, misalignment issues on older PDFs and things like that. So
in DynaPDF documentation, you can see all the different things you're allowed to do. Oh, maybe I can just pull that up. PDF-A.
Wow. Glad we have
search. This is just the online copy of the DynaPDF documentation, which I keep here. And
I feel sufficiently intimidated, right? It's like, what am I going to do over Christmas? I'm going to read the DynaPDF manual. Holy cow.
Okay, here is the list. So PDF-A version 1B, Yeah. No alpha, no transparency is allowed, no layers, no annotations, no form fields. And then there was a PDF A2 version, which says, well, annotations allowed, but not the newer ones. Some form fields can be flattened, and things here like overprint allowed, cannot be encrypted. Embedded file must be associated, so you can do everything with associated with embedded files. And then there's PDF A4, which has even newer things here. Now you can use overprinting if you want, use measurement properties. So the standards change all the time. We have to work behind them and implement newer things. Then, so if you have a customer saying, all your PDFs generated by FileMaker must be PDF A version 3A. Then you can say, okay, I get DynaPDF, I convert them, and then I can deliver the solution and tell the customer, yes, we can do that.
Yeah, that's pretty. I bought DynaPDF, by the way, everyone, for the team here at RCC. So it's something that we invested in. It was $1,000 or whatever it was thereabouts, but worth the money because it really opens up the capabilities. There's some basic PDF capabilities. So just in case someone asks the question, there's basic PDF capabilities in Monkey Bread, but if you want to dig deep and really go deep with PDF manipulation, you really need the DynaPDF library. So anyway.
So next thing would be fidgets. So I got a few of the fidgets.
All right, so we continue to have an argument about a fidget that we would like to have for the for a demo, an interesting demo that we put together here that I would like. I thought about shocking someone. If you
let me just hold some up.
Is that a shaver? What is that?
No. So this is a light sensor. This is a slider, which you can move up and down.
Like a potentiometer kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and a temperature measurement. So we will get more, so we can have a future live stream to show more of them. So you could have the light sensor on your computer with FileMaker, and you could automatically log how much light is there in the room for your plants. There's also a moisture sensor, which may also have or humidity.
Can't kill the plants.
Yeah,
I kill plants all the time, no water. So yeah.
So there are different sensors you could use for your little home project there. And this is a feature in the plugin to connect to this little devices from the Fidgets company. And we can have live events here, so you can get a script triggered. And in the new version, I improved the script trigger. So if the device sends the events quicker, then your script can process them. We will just drop the older events and give you the latest value. So we get here a script triggered every few seconds with a new value. And so it goes up and down as I move the sensor. Let's close it and just show you a script. So the first thing is we have to install the client software, which is basically just this DLL on Windows, framework on Mac, and it could also run on Linux, but I'm not sure if you would want to do that on your server. So we create a fidget device. We set some triggers, so we get a script triggered if we attach the device or detach the device, and then we open the device in the background, which will then later trigger the attached event, where we tell the device to inform us about any change in the illuminance. And then we get our trigger here, which just updates the field. You could do something useful here.
So all this stuff you could connect into FileMaker. And so if you had a customer project that needed, like for example, you actually have a marijuana operation and they hire you to do FileMaker for that. I mean, I've had that conversation before with people. I just, because of my background, it's hard to go down that road, but you got all sorts of interesting things in here. Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, did you know you can run FileMaker server on a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, Hans is talking about that.
Yeah.
He wants to come and do that on his show. And then
So it could be fun.
yeah, it could be fun, right? A clapper. Oh, clap on the clapper. Oh, most Margaret, that was before your time. You don't know that. They used to have a commercial on TV, and then people go to bed. They don't want to get out of bed, and all the lights are on the room. So they clap twice, and it hears it, and it shuts the lights off for them. It's called the clapper.
Let's say you want to automate something and you need an input, so I can move the slider. We get an updated value
hang on,
here.
I'm gonna go back over to where you're at because I'm hiding you. Oh, there we go. There's your slider. Go ahead, do your slider again.
Okay, I can just move up and down the slider, and FileMaker will recognize the value. And this could be anything. It could be hardware control to move from record to record, or maybe you find something useful for this. We will sooner or later have a few more examples.
Yes.
So next thing for macOS, we got this nice syntax coloring things, you know. I actually prepared, but you may know that we had a list here of all the improvements. And recently someone complained that I should provide proper documentation. So I started writing all the items down here, and I got 41 articles here with all the things. And the latest one we added is the format button. So in your calculation dialog, you get a new button here to format a calculation. Like this is how it maybe looks before, and then the plugin will format it.
Can I get that now? How do I?
Yeah, sure.
Does that come with the free version? I mean, I have paid for Monkey Bread, but it's
just if you have the latest plugin installed, you have this new here F. Actually, if someone has a better idea for an icon here, please send me. But currently, it's just an F. For
a little F.
Yeah,
well,
so
could be worse.
Let me just write something like some stupid thing here.
13. I have 13.1. I need a better one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I can just it automatically adds spaces. We have some. Let's say we make a function. Which function takes a lot of values? Let's make a let statement, and say we have a let statement. Equals some text. So let's format this. And so it has a calculation to see how long the text is, to decide whether it makes several rows of it. Like let's make a function call here. What could we call? Let's say we call just a date function. Put in some. Oh, that's too much. Maybe this, and format it. And let's say
this is cool.
We make the line
calculations
longer
are hard
and
to
say,
read.
oh, there's a little bit more text and a little bit more text, and let's say what happens. Let's say I need to make a function call with longer text. Let's say it could be a get value, and we have a long list of values here. Maybe put in some text, see what happens. Okay, this is not long enough. I get a little bit longer. And now you see it makes more lines, and it may take some time to get over it and see, oh, hey, it makes a new line here. So till we get a perfect set of rules on how to format things, which suits most people. But for now, it at least adds you the spaces here and intense things.
No, this is very cool. Like, I mean, we saw like a couple of like Nick's calculations the other day that would be impossible to read if you even looked at them. But like, you could format it and then parse it out with like extra spaces and returns, and then it's all pretty. It's very cool.
Yeah. Please let me know if you have some calculations which don't look perfect, and you may have some changes. And I may change it for the next version to be a little bit more like people want it. Please try. So we have Command-Shift-F. So we have the shortcuts, a long list of shortcuts. There was oh, I have to know which one. Ah, here's a list. So we have a couple of shortcuts when you are in the calculation. And let me just go back here. So you have some text and you can press Command F to find something. And now the new thing is you can press, what was it? Let me go back. Command Shift F. Yeah, there it is. So in the text, Command Shift F to jump right to the replace thing. So yeah, people like to, oh, this is a different F. So people like to just use keyboard. So you can jump to find, you can jump to the other find, so the place field.
Can I ask a question, Margaret?
Yeah.
So, or Margaret, or a Christian, whatever works for you. So is this only on the data viewer dialog here? Or is it in other calculation dialogues?
No, it's here. If you go to whatever dialog you want, you can press Command F, you can Shift F. And you can do search and replace within your calculation. Like if you have a long calculation.
So that whole little block up here is your deal, right? Just so everyone understands what we're looking at here. So this section right here is all monkey bread upgrades.
Yeah, actually it's a feature from Apple. Like you may know it from here, Text Edit.
Oh.
So it's a feature of the control here, of the Text Edit control. And the plugin enables the feature with some shortcuts, and we do a little bit integration.
Okay.
Like we use the same control for searching in lists. Like if you have a list of fields here, you can press Command F, and you can find your fields.
I needed that last week.
All the lists in FileMaker, tables, security, layout list. The plugin always adds this little value lists here. Oh, we don't have one. Okay, but now we can search it. And you see highlighted in yellow. So then I did another thing for me, because I often write calculations. And I have this nice calculation. I can copy it, Command C, paste it somewhere, and, well, the color is lost. So I made Command Options C to copy with color and the font size. And now in the new version, I even made, what was it? Command Option Shift C to get it as HTML on the clipboard.
All right, back up. Say that again. So Command C just gets us the text.
Yeah.
Command Shift, Command Option C gets it with these.
Here's the list. Here.
Where is this at? If I need to see this again.
So you go on the website.
Yep.
You go on the syntax coloring thing. And then you have here all the options. And for different options, we show you the shortcuts you can press to do the things. Like there's a search and replace in calculations, for example, where you find the search and replace. And there's, of course, a list of shortcuts. So we can copy the text with styles, which is very nice if you just copy and paste to your new blog post, maybe. Or you can get it as HTML, which is also useful to get here links and styles, which I sometimes use for my own blog posts. So, okay, next thing, URL recognition and script workspace. Not sure if you saw that before. Let's say you make a new script. Your script maybe starts, let's say, with a header, function header. And you may want to have a loop, and maybe another loop. And now your script looks a little bit down. You want to add maybe some documentation. So you say, if you want to learn more about this here function, go to this help page. So you put a link to the help page directly into your script. And then you get the little widget here on the right side. You can, of course.
Oh, man. It's really too bad that's not built into the product. That should be built into the FileMaker product fundamentally. That would be really nice. Oh,
So
well.
you can include links for email, like mail to links. You can even see other database. You could add a FMP link, test, whatever. So you can link to other databases. The new thing is in the current plugin is see also script. What is it? Search. So you can link to other scripts. So when I click here, I jump to the other script. When I click here, I would go to other database. I would send an email with my mail client, or I would just open the website here and jump to the documentation.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think it's very useful to put the links for the documentation.
Yeah, I was going to say, just for documentation, it's super useful. All right, yeah. Stu says, great ad. Yeah, I saw that, and my brain starts cartwheeling about, like, it's like you've been using FileMaker and you're writing scripts for 30 whatever years, and then suddenly you're like, oh, how come we haven't had this already?
Okay, so the next thing is, you may know it, comments in your script take time. So FileMaker takes time to execute script lines, and there's a minimum time per line, which applies also for script lines. So we want to put all the comments on the bottom of the script after the script is finished. And now we need a way to say here, see comments on the end, and we can have a go-to link to point to the end. Click to there.
You're using GoTo. I haven't seen GoTo since with programming basic.
Is new in this version. And here you can also say go to, what was it? Start, I think start. Let's see.
Can you tell the line to go to? Can you tell the line?
Yeah, go to, let's say 20. So, and you can say here, we check for something in line 20, and you can, of course, write it in the line.
All right, I just myself. I'm going to need new clothes. This is awesome.
And you jump to the line based on the number. Okay, so you can add your comments, and then you can jump around as needed.
That's crazy.
So where's my blog post? I lost it already. Martin, what else do we have?
We got to use this immediately, this GoTo stuff.
GoTo, install the latest version. So variables, right, you can declare. Oh, yeah. We have our variable check. So
variable check. Yeah, I know that it does clairvoyance. It tries to give you the name of the variable, right? But
yeah, but let's say you don't use this little thing, but you maybe mistype something.
Yeah. So what does it do?
All the time, and then the plugin complains.
Okay, stop. Where did all this awesome stuff come from? 13.1. This wasn't in there. This is in there now. This is awesome. Been in there for this is making me mad. This is so awesome. I have to have this immediately. I've been really nice, but this is obscenely awesome. I can't imagine if I'm supposed to be excited or agitated that I've been missing this.
Okay. We will have to another live here. Live sessions.
Yeah, we have 2 live streams to go over
in
this
December to talk about this. So we will go through all these items here on the list. Okay, so let's say we have something else. Yeah, let's say you have a let statement and you have count defined here. Oops, let me open this. So let's say you have here example, and you have here $count defined being 1. So now you have a little problem because our plugin can't parse a let here because, well, the plugin doesn't parse the let statements because we don't get the full text here. We don't get the new line characters. So we don't know where the comment here is ending.
So you're just reading the stuff that's on the screen right now.
Yeah, we read this.
You're screen scraping is what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. So the usual thing we would do is would say we have a comment here defining count, and then the variable is defined by the comment because you declared it somewhere else. It's maybe a parameter. It's maybe let statement. And now we improved that. So instead of the comment here, which I can just use to say I have defined something somewhere, and I can go in the statement here and say, oops, Oh, by the way, you can use the option click here. Jump right into it. So I can declare the new count variable here with our add variable or add constant or add parameter thing. And now the plugin sees this comment here. And now it's, oh, this is a variable you declare in the let statement or in the custom function. So we recognize that, and it's no longer an error. And of course, this also helps you if you make a set variable. Move the window down, and you type our auto-completion. You see it knows the count. It knows the count with 2T. It knows the $$pi. I implemented these features for macOS only. Windows people can buy a Mac if they want that, or they can ask Claris.
I mean, I'm a Mac person, but I can just see the Windows people over there like grating down their teeth.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm happy that 10 years ago I found this way to hack myself into this list. Even if you like your Windows box, you can just get a little MacBook next to you. You know, the MacBook M1 for $700 would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
And just have the same script open there and do your edits there and then test on your Windows machine.
There you go.
We do have things for Windows.
Okay. All right.
So there's a question. So you know FileMaker on Windows uses several windows now to show databases. It's no longer this big window like in FileMaker 15.
Yeah.
So people complain that all these FileMaker windows show up in the taskbar.
Yeah.
So we got a little function to remove windows from the taskbar.
Okay.
Because this windows would also show up if you use Alt Tab. So if you cycle through your windows on your Windows machine, you would the FileMaker windows would all show up, and some people don't like that. So you can remove a FileMaker window from the taskbar. And if you use our Windows OCR functions, you can now use them on the server. You can use Microsoft's OCR engine on Windows, on the server.
All right. Well, we're at the end of the hour here, and as much as I would like to keep going here, I do have to eventually cause a stop in the action. But
okay, then let's just summarize. We have video effects for Mac and iOS. We got a new audit example for MongoDB.
Okay.
We get a new metrics function, text to HTML got improved, XML import got improved. We got a new curl version. Any questions left about the new plugin version?
We're all blown away. Yeah.
If anyone has a question, please email me.
Yep. Email support@monkeyspread.com. Amazing from NJ in Australia. Says it's awesome. Congrats. Great stuff. NJ is awesome. All right, cool. Well, I think that's it for today. Okay, so real quick, if you want to buy the Monkey Bread stuff, you go to Monkey.
Go to our website. There's a pricing page. There's a buy now button.
And then this is a little misleading. These prices are not per seat. That's for the entire group of 5 people.
Yeah.
So it's just the way he writes this up. So yeah, that's a pretty good price, right? Because you're talking about
a few dollars per person,
$30 per user per year, something like that. That's pretty great. That's pretty cheap. So, all right, or like $2 a month or something. It's like for only $2 a month, you can feed a homeless person, or you could buy Monkey Bread, whatever works for you. Okay. Yeah, Larry says he's overwhelmed. Yeah, welcome to my life. I was overwhelmed with fidgets, and now I got blown up with this other stuff. So, all right, that's it, everyone. We're going to thank Christian Schmidt for coming on the show. Good job, Christian Schmidt. We'll catch you next week. All right, see you. Good job, Christian.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look in the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!